Hello, and welcome to Mod 12 Aspects of Self, module number 7. I am Kiana Brathwaite, soon to be Kiana Jennings White, and I'm realizing since module number 5, I actually haven't identified the program, but you can see it as you tap into it, so I'm not going to worry about that, but that's just funny to me. Today, in this module, we're going to talk about growth and learning. I once said to someone in my ex-husband's family, for me to no longer learn or be willing to grow or open to grow is actual death, right? I may not physically die, my body may not physically die, but for me to no longer engage with the world in which it is literally my oyster every moment, every second, every day, and not learn, glean, experience, and grow and evolve is actual death. It's energetic death. I know it sounds it's very macabre, and it can be, like, oh my gosh, that's it, right? And that's technically, to some extent, how I feel about it, It allows me to, it really motivates me, right, and how I'm going to engage with the world. And it's a foundation, it's a pillar for me. My love of learning in non-traditional senses has been the foundation of my life, probably since I was like maybe 4 or 5. When I discovered the woman that birthed me, there's a story behind that, but we don't need to go down that road right now. She had college textbooks for oceanography, the natural world, biology, chemistry, and I found myself delving into those really deeply at that stage because I wasn't in summer camp at the time. I was just hanging out with my grandparents, and a lot of her stuff was at their house, so I would go through her textbooks. And that was when I fell in love with learning and the worlds in which, a non-traditional education can take you, the places and spaces and the discoveries. It wasn't, for me, learning wasn't about discovering or explaining the mysteries. Learning for me is about experiencing the mysteries, right? Being exposed to what the mysteries are. Just because we understand that a tree reaches out into the sun, reaches out into the sky to get the sunlight to then, go through the photosynthesis process. Like, we can understand all that, but that doesn't take the magic from it. How long did it take this being to get to the point where that's how it processes and gets its energy to grow and thrive? And so it was like that kind of stuff. The oceanography book was amazing to me because there was this world that was opened up that I realized we really still know not much about, and yet we know a little bit about it. So we're scratching the surface. So growth and learning fosters the mystery for me, which I know can be, wait, what? Wouldn't it, change it or explain it? No, it gives way to it for me, right? It's a gateway, as they say. And how I define growth and learning, it was very simple, subjects and topics of interest. And I didn't want to get too concise with that definition because, again, as I said, it's all about exposure, mystery, opening up to the mystery, and just having fun with the learning process as it meets me. When I've been in traditional educational situations, I've been able to do well. I don't know if I would say thrive, but I've been able to do well and make it through or progress through the process as it's set up, right, as the template's set up. However, with my own learning and growth process, I find that it's not linear. It's not in a sense of anything in which I expect it to be usually, which is very funny because I kind of find myself contradicted internally, where it's like, I want to learn this way. I'm learning Spanish, right? And I'm not learning it in the traditional way at all. I'm not sitting down and writing out the, vocabulary and then going to read and taking a class. It is one of the most progressive ways in which I learn language, and I am starting to understand that it's probably more natural for me in the way in which it's happening, where I find myself in a country where they only speak Spanish, and then I'm acclimating myself to that and hearing it. But it also, I love this about going to South America and not being fluent in Spanish yet. There's a level of ignorance that I still get to experience, and when I'm down there, where it's not necessarily ignorance, but it's this, I can't understand what they're saying, so I don't have to worry about it. So now I get to be here without having to worry about what they're saying or what people are saying. And I know some people are like, well, you got to know what's going on around you. And yes, and I do in a multitude of ways outside of language communication, but it also allows me to communicate with people in South America in a way that is not language-based. So it allows me to tap into my creativity, right? And the module I did before this was Fun and Rec. And there's creativity in that. So I enjoy it for that. I'm enjoying my ignorance to a certain extent, but also my process, right? And just really paying attention to and witnessing it as I move through it. So enjoy growth and learning. You can play around with it. Some people, when it comes to the 12 aspects, again, meet you where you are. That is the most important thing about this practice, but also that you make these aspects that you want to focus on all about you. So if growth and learning doesn't work, please change it to whatever it needs to be for you. But that is the crux of what it is for me and how I've used it. I'm going to invite you once again at the end to sit with this, however long. I've said 24 hours, 3 days, a week, a month, 6 months, a year, whatever works for you. Pick it up, play with it, put it down, come back to it. There's so much that you can do. There's so many opportunities with it. Enjoy that play. And I look forward to hearing you, talking to you in the next one. And thanks for being here. Until next time.